So I welcome you all for the iWorkstation BIM series, a session on mastering ISO 19650, best practices for digital information management. Okay. So ISO 19650, as I can mention, is one of the standard in the industry people use for BIM. Now BIM has many different names. We will see the different misconceptions as well in the industry today, which is happening nowadays. So as we begin, what is ISO 19650? ISO 19650 is an international standard for managing information over the whole life cycle of a built asset using BIM. Okay. So this ISO 19650 is being published by BSI, British Standard International, and you can find this standard in ISO website as well .org. So in order to get this certification, this certificate is for individual or for companies or for country or for organization. There are many doubts which comes into your mind. Okay. So this ISO 19650 certification accreditation is for the organizations, like the companies. There are many companies in India. Okay. If I want to name a few, like L&T, Shapoorji Pallonji. Okay. What else? Arup, Mott MacDonald, Bureau Happold. There are many companies in India, but few of the companies are accredited by ISO 19650. So what this accreditation says? This accreditation is only for one country. Let's say if there is a company in India, so you will be delivering a project in India using BIM, okay, using some technology or using some different processes. So in order to qualify for that company to have a ISO 19650, they need to provide certain documents, and they need to prove that the company is efficient and successful enough in delivering the ISO 19650. So once these companies get the certification, this certification will be valid for the next 3 years from the date they receive. On the right side, you can see the certification like a kite mark from the BSI, and this certification will be renewable every 6 to 12 months based on the audit. Okay. So the people from this company, this organization BSI, they will come and check whether the companies follow certain protocols or not, whether company maintain the proper standard of delivering the BIM projects, proper hygiene, proper culture. There are so many factors which is there required in this particular certification in order for a company to receive it. Okay. We are not going into detail about so many certifications and what documents are required. To have an overview is more important. Now, which companies are there in India which have ISO 19650 certification? There are very few companies. Okay. There are many companies in India, but only few companies have ISO 19650. There are few companies like Mott MacDonald, Desa Pax, Pinnacle Infotech, L&T Construction, Tata Consulting Engineers Limited. These are the only few companies which have ISO 19650 certifications, that they are quality driven and they follow the standards defined by the organization. Next, if you move on to the understanding the fundamentals of ISO 19650. Basically, ISO 19650 is a certification for managing the project. It has 5 different parts, but currently there are only 4 parts which is in use. The one part is not released yet. As you can see on your screen, part 1, 2, 3 and 5. The 4th part is yet to be released, will be released soon. Okay. So these 5 different parts contain all the information which is necessary for delivering a successful BIM project. Okay. So now there are many ways of delivering a successful BIM project. One way is to follow or use a software particular. Okay, like some people use Revit, some people use ArchiCAD, and there are many other software tools available. But software standards is a different thing, and a workflows and the process standards is a different thing. So this ISO 19650 clearly states and satisfies that what kind of process standards a company should use in order to implement a successful BIM. Okay. Nowadays, things have changed since COVID-19. Most of the companies have gone digital in their workforce, and most of the companies are doing and working online using the 5G. Maybe later 6G and other generations might come. So the internet has a very fast capability for the people to work on these kind of projects. In order to utilize this technology, there is a proper standard. Okay, so these standards have been released since 2018 and is now publicly available for each and every one of you on their website. Okay, so if I search BSI ISO 19650, so you can see over here ISO 19650 group. Okay, what is ISO 19650? What are the different parts? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. All these 5 different parts contain some information which is required for the management of the built asset. Okay, let's look at the part 1, information management using BIM, concepts and the principles. Part 2, information management using BIM, delivery phase of the asset. Then there is the operational phase of the asset. Then there will be a security minded approach to the information management. So different parts contain different strategies and different workflows of processes in order to successfully deliver a BIM standard. Okay, now in their website itself, if you notice over here, it is clearly mentioned that these standards are founded on the UK standards for information management using building information modeling. Okay, so these standards are founded on the UK standard and it supersedes these few standards like PAS 1192, which was the common standard for all the country before to utilize and manage a BIM project. So this was released by UK, then subsequently all the different countries, they started following these standards, PAS 1192 to 2013. Imagine, almost 10 years before. Okay, so 10 years before the standards were already released, and this ISO 19650 is a superseded document of this old standard. So many companies are still struggling and trying to overcome these kind of challenges which were there in the past 1192, and they are now shifting towards ISO 19650, which is a legal standard and which is available to all the countries, and all the countries, they need to follow this standard. So we have a common language, right? Let's say we are talking as of now, I am using an English as a language, right? Some of you from the different parts of the country, they might not understand English, they might understand French or Spanish or Germany, Japanese or Chinese or different any other languages that might be there in the world. Okay, so in order to work on these kind of projects, you need to speak in a certain way, in a certain language. So this standards is nothing but the language of a professionals. Okay, now you can find more details over here about what is ISO 19650. You will find how you can get some training courses about it. I won't go into too much detail about these courses. Let's come to the presentation. Okay, wait a minute, over here. So these are the different ISO 19650 standards which are available for different phases. Now, in order to understand these standards, there are few terminologies which is used in the industry, which is very important for any engineer, architect, or even you are entering into the BIM field. You should know these kind of terminologies. Okay, LOD, LOD, LOD. There are 3 different meanings of LODs. Okay, in the industry, LOD means level of detail, but it also means level of development, but it also stands for level of definition. Okay, then there is LOI, level of information. Then there is LOG, level of geometry, level of accuracy. Then in the ISO 19650 framework, what we suggest is level of information need, because in the olden time, like maybe few years ago in 2016, 17, 18, many of the companies, they faced lot of trouble and misunderstandings because of this one single term. And right now also many companies are struggling because of this term, because LOD doesn't clearly satisfies what information you need. Okay, so let's say have a look at this level of development example. Okay, this level of development, on the left side you can see a simple chair which has a 3D model, so that maybe you can call is LOD 100. It's like a concept presentation. This is the old concept which I am talking about. Now we are also going to look at the new concept which is there in the industry. But in order to understand the new concept, you first need to know what was the old concept and why we need to change our mindset and our approach towards level of information need. Okay, so this is LOD, level of development. On the left side you can see the chair with a 3D model. There is any information about the width, depth, height, manufacturer? No information. So this is LOD 100, only a 3D model. It's a conceptual stage of model. Then design development stage. In the design development stage, you can see the dimension of this particular chair. 700 width, depth 450, height 1.1 meter. This comes out to be LOD 200. Then there is a documentation phase. So what I'm trying to say is, each of the different phases, as we progress, the element increases its information, and this increase in information leads to increase in number of LODs. Like there is 100, 200, 300, 400, and then 500. Some even have 600, 700 and 800. Some companies and some people in the industry have developed these kind of LODs by themselves, considering these kind of things is easy and for everyone to understand. Okay, so these kind of level of development has a lot of limitations in the industry. So we were at the LOD, level of development. Okay, so and as the information increases, the LOD number also increases. But this LOD framework lacks flexibility. Project terms often you have to choose a LOD level that do not match their needs, leading to over and under modeling. Subjective nature of LOD's definition, stakeholders interpret the same LOD's level differently. Means that you have a different definition of LOD, 200, but stakeholders, they understand something else, because different country, different understanding, right? So why I am saying all these countries have a different understanding is because, have a look at this plannerly. Okay, I'll just open one single project for you in order to understand why I am saying LODs have a different definition in different countries. So have a look over here. If I just click on the description, can you see LOD US AIA 100, 200, 300 to 500? Now imagine US is a country. US is using LOD 100 to 500, but US is also using LOD 200, 300, 350 and 400. But the UK is using 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What level of confusion all these countries are having, right? Because different countries are having a different understanding about level of development. LOD DK, that is Denmark, BR, that is Brazil, CA, Chile, France, China, LOD US BIM Forum, okay, LOD 19650 plus. So many different understanding of LOD. That's why ISO 19650 have said that people in the industry should not use LOD as a term in the BIM project. They only need to use ISO 19650 level of information need. Okay, so now I hope you understand. If anyone asks you, have you worked on which kind of project? Many people say like, have you worked on LOD 400, 500, 300, these kind of things. But that doesn't clearly satisfies the question, the employer, that what is exactly the definition of LOD. So that's a misconception. LOI. So this is LOD, which is already become obsolete in the industry as of now. Now there is LOI, level of information need. So LOI is reshaping BIM. Here's why. LOI clearly satisfy what is the requirement, specified exact information needed at each project phase. Because whenever you work on any project, you need to be very much clear that what does the client wants. If you are not clear what the client wants, what you will deliver is something else. The client wants a chocolate cake, and if you deliver a cheesecake, then who is in trouble? You are in trouble and the client is also in trouble. The same applies to the BIM industry. If a client wants a particular design of a window, and if you deliver him another design of a window, then it's totally a chaos, right? So LOD is totally becoming obsolete. Now in LOI, level of information need, it clearly satisfied what is the requirement of the client, ensures coordinations, enhances collaboration and reduces rework, supports decision making, provides detailed data for informed choices, improve efficiency, streamlines the project delivery and facility management. Here is the LOI, level of information need framework. So over here you can see from the top to the bottom why is information needed. Example, if there is a chair in your project, Do you really need all the information about this particular chair? That what type of wood it has, which nut bolt it is using, which screw it is using, which type of paint or polish this particular chair is using, what type of materials are there, who is the manufacturer, what is the cost. So many information may not be required in the industry, right? So in order to define what information, why information is needed, what is the purpose of these information, this need to be clear at the first stage. When this information is needed, that means at which phase of the project you will need this information, in the starting phase of the project, or when the construction is going to happen, that time, or when the project is already finished, when you hand over the project to the client, at that moment you need this information. Who requires and delivers information? Is it the site engineers who delivers the information? Is it the BIM manager who delivers the information? Or is it the client itself who delivers the information? What object, what information is required for achieving a particular goal? Okay, so all these questions need to be addressed in the LOI framework. Now there are few misconceptions in the industry. As you can see in your screen right now, there are 6 total misconceptions which is happening in the industry. Many people say BIM modeling, but that is not a correct word. It is called as BIM authoring. Okay, even I used to say BIM modeling. That is not correct, but only for the people to understand what is BIM modeling. If I say I am doing a BIM authoring training, many of the people will not even understand. So BIM modeling is just a marketing word, it's just for the advertisement. Okay, in order to make it easier for the people to understand, people have created these kind of words. Same, BIM equals to VDC, digital construction, digital engineering. There are many different words for the BIM. In the industry, some people say that BIM is not even a term, this is only used for marketing, and that's absolutely true. BIM, building information modeling, is just a marketing term, but what actually is there in the BIM is very different. Okay, it's a tool, it's a process which we gonna use that properly signifies under the domain of VDC, that is virtual design and construction, or you can say digital construction, or you can say digital engineering. So it's a bigger field. Now let me give you a very simple example in order to explain these kind of terms. Civil engineering. Okay, civil engineering is a bigger field. Under civil engineering there are so many different domains. Like in civil engineering there is survey engineering, there is transportation engineering, okay, then there is structural engineering, then there is environmental engineering. Same, digital engineering is a bigger domain. Under the big digital engineering there are different domains like digital construction, BIM, IPD, IoT, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics. There are so many things which comes under the field of digital engineering. So what I want to explain here is BIM modeling is not what you think. BIM modeling is actually BIM authoring. LOD is not exactly LOD. LOD is LOI. So people need to understand in the industry that they need to start using and understanding the term level of information need more than level of detail, development or other domains. All countries' LODs are not same. As I already showed you over here in the planally, all the countries' LODs are very different from what we see as of now. That's why there is a term LOI, level of information need, so that people have a same information at all the stages of the project. BIM jobs hierarchy and position. In many companies, they have a hierarchy of BIM. Some companies have a BIM coordinator, BIM manager, BIM modeler, or you can say BIM architectural modeler, BIM structural modeler, BIM Revit modeler. There are so many jargons which is used in the industry at the moment. But all these jargons come under a one big hierarchy. Okay, so in this big hierarchy, people need to understand what is the responsibility. Doesn't matter whether your role is a BIM modeler. Maybe your responsibility will be like a BIM coordinator, or maybe your responsibility can be like a BIM manager. Even you are doing a role of a BIM modeler. So you need to understand when you enter into the industry, focus on role and responsibility, not on the title of what your position you are getting in the company, because that position doesn't signifies what exactly your role is. When you look at the role and responsibilities in any job which is there on LinkedIn, Indeed, or anywhere in any platform, you will exactly find it out that what the company is requiring you. Maybe the company is hiring for a BIM modeler, but he's looking actually for a BIM coordinator. So these are two different things. BIM implementation is equals to IPD. Okay. So now what is IPD? IPD is called as integrated project delivery. Integrated project delivery. So maybe few of you have know what is IPD, but many of the people in the industry still doesn't know what is IPD. Okay. So in order to successfully deliver a BIM project, there is a process which need to be followed. That process is called as IPD. Okay. So this is a very broader topic which we're gonna talk later in the subsequent sessions. So this integrated project delivery is gonna use in successfully managing a BIM project, a BIM model. And this is also mentioned in ISO 19650 that you need to use IPD as a process. Now IPD is not a software, it's not a platform, it's nothing, it's like a process. Like if I ask you project management, what is project management? Is it a software? No. Project management is a process which helps people to understand how to manage a project. Same, integrated project delivery is a construction delivery method that helps people to manage a project using BIM. Okay, so there are more detailed things about this particular topic. Let's come back to our session. So these are the misconceptions which is happening in the industry nowadays. I hope all of you understood what is ISO 19650, what kind of certifications are required in ISO 19650, right? What are the different parts of it, how it's gonna relate with different countries, what is this platform called Planally which we can use to make a BIM execution plan, okay? What are the misconceptions in the industry as of now, and which companies are actually utilizing ISO 19650. Let's move on to the question and answering session. Yes, Ashwan.
Hi everyone. Adnan, can we get an individual certification for IS 19650?
Yes, you can get an individual certifications also. You need to check on the ISO BSI website, and in India also there is a chapter now. All the countries have a ISO chapter. Recently Romania and few other countries are also added in the list, and India also has a chapter which is there in Bangalore. So if you want to get a certification from ISO 19650, the only way to get this certification is by going in the organization itself. You need to go to Bangalore and fill out the simple document and form which they gonna provide to you, and then you follow the certification process. In this process, there will be some training classes. There will be trainers from the ISO 19650 from BSI, some registered trainers from this organization which gonna train you. And once you complete this training, you can take the ISO 19650 fundamental certificate, that you know how to use ISO 19650. So this is an individual certificate, not for the company. For the company, I have showed in the presentation today a company certificate, how a company can get a certificate. But in order to get an individual certificate, you need to contact this organization. They don't have a regular training for ISO 19650 certifications. Depending on the inquiry and depending on individuals, they can organize these kind of trainings. Maybe this trainings for 5 people, 10 people, not many people at the moment. Okay, since very few people know about these, that's why it's they are still marketing it out to the individuals to get this kind of certifications. So go for Bangalore. You can find more information on their website, BSI. Okay. So I think all of you are taking a benefit of these sessions every Sunday. So I have a special class for some students who wanted to join. They can join this class. This class is only 3 days long. Okay. So in this 3 days class, I'll be training only few selected students. probably not more than 10. Okay, and this class will be dedicated for these students to help them get a job in the BIM domain. Okay, so in this class what you have to do is very small assignments in 3 days which you're gonna do, which will help you to get a job in the BIM sector. I will be requiring few individuals who are dedicated in learning, who really want to uplift their career and make a presence on the social media like LinkedIn, create their own network to get more BIM projects or more opportunities for getting a job in the companies in India or any other parts of the world. So this class is only 3 days long, just 30-minute session each 3 days, and this is totally free for all of you, but only 10 students will be selected for this class. So I need a dedicated team of only 10 students. So any one of you who are interested can contact me directly on my WhatsApp, and I will be giving you a assignment which you need to complete it, and then you can join this class. All my previous batch students who are there already pursuing the BIM for digital construction training course, they can also continue in this session. They don't need to apply separately. Okay, they will also be a part of it who are already pursuing the training course, but I am giving this class for the people who are not pursuing the course and who are like a spectator at the moment, who are joining this session to learn something about BIM in the industry, polish their skill set. Okay, so only 10 people I'll be selecting. You can send me your names on the WhatsApp group. I will be giving you a short assignment which you have to fulfill. Once you complete the assignment, 10 people will be selected in order to follow this 3 days of class. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. We will meet again on the next Sunday. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.